Hey there, just a little tidbit note. Welcome back. This is Arcadia One, the podcast where we talk about anything I feel like talking about. Well, at least for now. Just a little disclaimer, this podcast has been recorded during the time of quarantine. It's been renewed for a rather newer audience, and things are changing up a little bit. It's hard to describe exactly what changes I'll make, but the rules stay the same. I would do my best to not necessarily offend anyone, keep it clean if I can, but I will curse every now and then because it's just how I am. Overall, whatever I say, whatever jokes are made, are not intended to harm or to disrespect anyone. It's just a matter of having to express my thoughts and emotions here and there. And whatever I discuss in this podcast is purely and strictly my opinion, and the opinions of those whoever are on the show with me. This is a very sensitive era, I guess you could say, and time has changed for everybody to even consume some sort of media, whether it's audio, television, or whatnot. But this is a podcast, and this is an open podcast where we discuss different things that just try to make the world feel a little bit more happy throughout the days when it's nice and cold. And even then, we try to make it very cozy for everybody to just relax and just enjoy whatever they're hearing. So with that in mind, anything that is said, I hereby forth apologize if it offends anyone. It's not my intention. But also, sit back and enjoy. This is the Arcadia One podcast with your host, me, John Chrono. Yes, I know. Silly last name, especially during this time. And excuse me for my voice thing. I have no way of knowing whether that comes out in the audio recordings or not. So, yeah. All right. Enjoy the show. And please, stick around for the next one. I'm sure you'll love it. My goodness, how long has it been since I've actually done this? What is this that I'm referring to? Well, that's simple. Talking. Yes, that's right. Welcome back to the Arcadia One podcast. After my sudden and indefinite hiatus that now I am finally crawling out of my cave from. And look at that. I'm back during a time where I can't talk to anybody I know. Just kidding. That'll be for next time. But hey, look at that. I'm back and I'm better? I don't know. Quarantine has been a very strange period of time for me. And call it whatever you like. I'm not used to it, but I'm adjusting myself to it, I guess you could say. And, well, given the fact that everybody's been stuck at home, I thought I would finally bring back this little podcast to talk, share, and just, well, I don't even know if I should say vent. Maybe I should say something more on the lines of, all right, helping. There you go. Helping other people just to get by every now and then with something new and interesting to listen to. Forget the news, forget the politics, and while I'm not saying that that's not important, I think people need to take a little break from that every once in a while, and that's what this is for. So, what better way to do it than just to talk about being happy, how to be happy, and being positive during these rough times. I've had my ups and downs ever since we've all been stuck in our homes. And, I mean, everybody deals with it differently, but it's, for the most part, been an interesting experience. And what I mean by that is that I have been able to look back or even look within myself and ask, hey, what kind of a person am I? Who should I be? And why should I even care about that sort of thing? Among other things. But it's hard to answer and even ask that question when all I ever do nowadays is just sit down and watch TV or some other little thing. Now, I will be honest, it's hard to even talk about positivity without touching on negativity. So, just briefly, I'll kind of explain how exactly. See, it's even hard to just talk about it. It's hard to talk and think how far, how deep can I go? I have it. All right. The negative part of my life that I've experienced is just so much isolation. Everybody has taken the time to finally go outside, make an effort, do little things here and there, and even visit people that they know. I, for one, am doing my best to not do that. And while that is kind of the thing everybody is supposed to do, don't get me wrong. I've had the urges to want to say, hey, let me go and hang out with my friends, even though it's not the right thing to do. But because of that, I went on a low point. I thought, hey, I am not making any effort to talk or to stay in touch or even do anything of the sort. And I did try. And didn't really work because everybody's feeling very different nowadays. Everybody's doing different things. I don't know what everybody else is doing. So it pretty much turned on me and I thought, crap. Well, nobody wants to talk to me. And that was the wrong mindset. Oh, it was such a horrible mindset that I put myself in. But alas, I came through and I realized, hey, you know what? Even if I just talk about it, it's better. Because at least I'm getting that out there. And that's the first part that I have to talk about when it comes to being positive nowadays. It is okay to talk and to vent and just to even share what you're feeling. Even if nobody you know, that's your close friend, or maybe you don't have close family nearby, or somebody you really just trust, do it, type it out, write it in a book or like notebook or something, I don't know. Just express it somehow. And I know that's the typical norm. Yeah, great. You can do that with art. You can do that with a journal. You can do that with arts and crafts. No. What I'm talking about is just expressing yourself with your emotions however you can, as long as it's not illegal. But, everybody has their own methods, and it's hard to stay positive in a time when you're supposed to be secluded at home. But if you're one of those little danger devils that decides to go out every now and then for whatever reason other than necessities, well, that's not a bad thing. I'd say if you have that opportunity, you take that chance, great, go ahead. But use it to reflect. Use that time to put into yourself, not just necessarily to go out and be with other people. And while that's great, I think the most important thing that people need to understand now is just to focus on yourself. That is probably what this time is for. If anything, I'd say it's Mother Nature's way of putting us in our place and having us all sit in our little corners and be in a timeout. But, hey, maybe we do need that. The world isn't really pretty, and given everything that's been going on in the news, if you live in the United States, it's been kind of a crazy, shitstorm, if I'm being honest. And that's not okay. It can make people feel a little bit worried, anxious, or, dare I say it, completely insane. But in these times, when you're feeling overwhelmed by such disasters of sorts, be it political or internal, it's just a matter of having to find a way to focus, hone in on your thoughts, and put them out there somehow. I'd say that quarantine is the perfect opportunity for people to finally focus on whatever little niche thing they wanted to do for the longest time, but never had that time to do so. And that's what I've been doing. I've been taking classes, working on my writing, working on my drawing. Not that much of a good drawer per se, but I try. And overall, I've been thinking about doing other little things here and there, and this is one of those things. Doing a podcast, being a voice of whatever to you, even if it's just some silly little thing you'll hear and just laugh about later, or you'll probably look back and say, damn, this guy has no idea what he was talking about, which, I might digress, is partially true. I am kind of doing this on a whim, but that's the fun in that. That is the whole point. You do things on a whim because it makes you feel better. And again, I'm not talking about anything illegal. When I say illegal, you know exactly what I mean. Drugs, crime, telling kids that Santa isn't real. I don't know. Whatever the case is, just don't do anything too crazy. Live life to the fullest as you can now, and I think that's the best way to go. And that moves on to my next little positive note on how to handle yourself in quarantine. What is it that you should do? How do you find what you should do? How do you make yourself happy? What is the key to that? Well, I'm not an expert. I mean, I'm human, so I'm not gonna be an expert on any of that. Unless, I'm a psychologist or something. I don't know. The point is, how you do that, by my tips. So my first tip on how to find what makes you happy, well, it's just all about a feeling. When you do something, how does it make you feel? How do you feel anything? How do you get that existential dread that you get in the morning and you motivate yourself to get out of bed? How do you get rid of that? Well, to be honest with you, it's hard, but, there is a way to do it. One way I have managed to find a way to get up in the morning is I always think about what I want to do the next day, the day before. So today, what am I going to do? Well, I'm doing this. I'm doing a podcast, talking, having a little fun with it, I guess you could say. What am I going to do later? Well, I have to cook. Great. What am I going to cook? Think about that. Cool. If you're not much of a cooker, well, okay. What can I do? What is there to do? There's chores. You've got some assignments, maybe part of the job. I don't know. Anything that doesn't interest you, or anything that just seems so very tedious, guess what? Yeah, throw it out all the way. Throw it all the way and just say, nah. But don't be lazy. And I know that contradicts just exactly what I said, but hear me out. You're thinking of all the responsibilities you have to take care of in your own home. And guess what? That's something you do have to focus on. But think about what you can do that's the complete opposite, that you just are dying to do. Oh, I want to watch this. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to call so-and-so. Great. Guess what? Reward yourself first. Everybody says work hard, play hard. But I say you should work later and play first. That came out so wrong and it sounded a lot better in my head, but give me a break. It's me barely waking up and I'm starting to hallucinate. Not crazy things. Anyways, the point is that you should focus on the things that you really want to do and do them. Keep that in mind. Keep all those things that you really want to do, not your responsibilities, the things you actually want to do, unless your responsibilities are the things you want to do, then that complicates things. But anyways, think of all the fun things you want to do, casual things, things that don't take too much effort, and do those things. Pace yourself day by day. Do your responsibilities one day, have fun the next. Or if you can find a way to balance them in between, that works too. But I say that kind of makes it a little bit difficult for somebody to transition to. See, you're doing all these different responsibilities, chores, work, whatever. Great. And then you want to do something fun. And then you're tired at the end of the day and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. It's not my thing. Oh, God, I just want to take a nap, eat, Pop-Tarts and just go to bed, whatever. Cry over some guy I met on Tinder or text them or whatever. I don't know. The point is, wait, do people still do Tinder? I don't know. Anyways, you have to just take in that initiative and doing the fun things first. Why the fun things? Well, I say it's fun because, everything's very bitter. Everything's very gloomy. And while it's not something that you should ignore, it is something that you should try to distract yourself from partially. So, no, I don't really want to admit and say, hey, balance things out, because that's just going to ruin your whole mumbo jumbo. Instead, have fun. Take that time to have fun. And if you have more responsibilities than time to have fun, well, find a way to have fun by yourself or with other people somehow for at least a whole day. Do that and treat yourself. It is the perfect opportunity right now to stay home. I mean, you have no choice. And do the things that make you feel great. Or, leading on to my next point. How should you feel at all during this time? How do you attain that happiness? What exactly should you have that mindset to feel better? The world is so desolate and dark, and it's just so crazy right now. And you're like, I can't think of a way to feel happy. Everything's just so much. I've got this problem, I've got that problem. I hear this on the news. So and so is dead and they're not getting justice. And that's fine. Those things are important. But for anybody who's involved in that, I think everybody can agree. No matter how much of an activist you are, no matter how much you're fighting or striving to push out your beliefs for the right reasons or whatever reasons you really believe is the right reason, it's exhausting. It's so much for one person, let alone thousands, if not millions of people to do that every single day. Sure, you have social media to do that and put the voice out there, repost, retweet, share on Snap, whatever. You've got that, and it's a little easier than just typing a whole paragraph and making everybody know that you're fighting for so-and-so or such and such cause. Great. But it is exhausting. So, how do you keep yourself in a positive mindset despite every single little crazy thing that's going on right now? Well, I call that the positive MacGuffin. And that makes it sound like something crazy or dirty, but, just hear me out. Positive MacGuffin is basically you focus your entire bit of happiness on an object. Is it food? Can be. Is it something you wear? Yes. Is it something you do? Of course. It is just something that makes you happy. Or someone. Maybe talking to someone does that for you. Back to what the MacGuffin actually is. It is just a point of interest, of happiness. That is exactly what I'm referring to. Focusing on something that makes you happy, regardless of what you're feeling. And it can be multiple MacGuffins. It doesn't matter what it is. So again, as long as it's not something that's harmful for you. I feel like somebody's dad when I repeat that. Point taken. Overall, focus and channel that positivity on something or someone or something you do. Yeah, I know this all sounds a little repetitive, but it is something to keep in mind because you're having to think about what to do, how to manage, how to do that fun thing, and let alone how to keep your mind focused on that positivity. How to transition yourself from gloomy seriousness to cheery optimism. And it's hard. It's not going to be something that you can do right away. And trust me, it's not easy even for me. You will have days where you feel like crap. You will have days where you feel like you cannot do anything or you don't want to do anything. And I'm here to tell you that that is perfectly fine. Getting a little personal here, I will say, I've had my fair share of many different issues. We all have. We're all human. But when it comes to really finding a way to stay happy in a constant state of unhappiness, I think the best advice I can admit and attest to is just to be true to your emotions. Be true to your emotions. Let yourself feel what you're feeling. And just let it loose. Be free. Express yourself to the highest degree, whether you're angry, sad, happy, confused, lost, anything. Because one thing is to have everybody feel difficult emotions, and then you have these situations where you're not able to feel or even express them anyway. And that's a hard thing to do. It's such a hard thing to do, and it's such a hard thing to even maintain. Everybody feels like they need to bottle it up because nobody cares, nobody listens, nobody will even give a damn. But guess what? There will be. There will always be somebody who will even give you that time of day to hear you out and say, what's wrong? I wish I could be that for everybody else, but there's a lot of people in this world. And I'm only friends with a few. Not even a percentage. Just like 0.00000 like 1%. I don't know. I'm not good with math. The point is, everybody has that outlet. Sure, you can do it on social media. Sure, you can write it in a book. Sure, you can, do something with that. But it all cycles back towards what? Being happy. And how do you be happy in a time when it's hard to be happy? And that's the whole point of this whole little conversation. How to be happy during a rough time is to be free of your emotions. Now, I don't mean yell at your mother or whatever, or just be angry at the world. Don't be overly aggressive. Don't be overly, how should I say, bitter. Yes, some of you are angry at the world, and some of you are just tired of staying at home, and it's so frustrating. But guess what? That is the reality. That is the reality we all live in right now. And it will get better. That is the last thing I will say. It will get better. Tell that to yourself. Believe in that. Take some time to just focus on that thought alone. It will get better. And everything will be okay. Easy as that. So, in all, I'd say that is how you can stay happy during a time where everybody is not. You're stuck at home, you're mopey, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're finally getting what you've wanted. Maybe you're happy you're stuck at home. Maybe you're happy that you can finally sit back, relax, have a few drinks, eat whatever you want, snack, watch movies, play games. But I think by now everybody's a little tired of that. And if you're not, well, kudos to you. I don't know how you can stay like that for so long. But hey, cool. I respect that. But for those of you who don't, it's okay. There's always something to do. All you have to do is just stand in the room and look around and find it. Because once you finally can do that in your own home, once you can finally look around and find what makes you happy, find what you can do to keep yourself distracted, or even find what you can around you to better yourself, apply that entire thought process when things get better and the world is normal again. When you're outside and you think there's nothing to do, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, if you can do what I've told you, or what I've advised you, I guess you could say, in your own home, imagine when you apply that to the real world, everywhere outside. I think that's the key to motivation, but I don't know, giving myself too much credit on that. But yeah, and that's fine. That's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. And it's just as easy as sitting by, taking a moment, just breathing. Everybody's always advising this wacky thing to do, but guess what? I think when you do take the time to just sit back, in your room with no TV or anything like that. You're just sitting. You take a moment. Just sit there. Look around your room, wherever you're at in your house. And just breathe. Relax. Take that deep breath and just exhale. Perfect moment of whatever it is you want to call it. Use that time. Focus on anything that you can to make yourself happy. And somehow, some way, just use your own mind, your own thoughts to let it all free. I've been told that meditation is a very good thing to do. Try that. I've done it, and it's actually been pretty interesting. It's hard with the noise in my neighborhood, but hey, I find a way. I listen to music. That helps too when I meditate. But I don't live alone, so it's hard to do that constantly, So I'm always doing a little thing here and there. But hey, if you can do that, take time to just sit back, meditate, think of what makes you happy, but also focusing on what you can do to better yourself. I think slowly, little by little, everybody will finally start to stay adjusted in their own home. Stay focused. Stay prepared. A lot of crazy things are happening right now, and that's hard on everybody, and that's fine. That's totally okay. We're all trying to do things that will make the world better. We're all trying to find a way to just get back to normal. But one last thing I will leave you is that when things do go back to normal, and everything that I've said, whether you take that to heart or not, or even just the world events that you've witnessed while you've been at home, what will you do? How will you be when all this is past? It's a very huge question to leave you with, but it is something everybody must think about, and maybe you have. But I want you all to take that time to think about it again. Be confident in your answer. And before somebody says it, or maybe you already have, and maybe you've heard it before, that person that you're wanting to be when all this is done, start doing that now. Take that time you have at home and just focus on what you can do to be that person you want to be later on. This is the time where everybody is reflecting. And I've reflected on myself heavily. Not everybody can do that, and everybody will believe in that, and everybody will really say, hey, let's do that, because it's fun. But it is true. It is so true to the point that if you do take that time to finally click, think back on your positives and your negatives, and try to better yourself as a person, however that is, then you'd be surprised what the world will be like to you next time you take a step outside, when all this is done and gone. It's a very trivial thing, I'd say, but it is something that is I will admit, it's a little scary to think about. Of course, some people will stay the same, but I think everybody is changing a little bit during these times. That's why I said before, it's like Mother Nature's putting us in the corner for timeout. Think about what you've done and reflect on it. I want to hear a paragraph or whatever, and you gotta submit that, for a grade, or I don't know who I'm trying to imitate. The point is that it's just some time that you have to take and just say, damn, am I really like that? Or, oh, well, nah, I'm not like that, man. Nah. But guess what? Even if you think about it and you just dismiss it because you're like, I'm not really like that, or whatever, like you could just care less. That is the first and smallest step to recognizing who you are and bettering yourself. Is it easy? No, of course it's not easy. But it is the first step. Anyways, I think that's enough. I feel like I'm rambling like an old man here at this point. And, well, it's good to be back. I'm really happy that I'm finally able to do this again. I don't know why I didn't do it before. I'm kidding. I know why. I've had all these difficult things that I've been just trying to get past and just move forward from. I've had too much time in my room or whatever and just, you won't believe the things that I've thought of when I've been in the shower or been on the toilet. Okay, TMI, I know. But it's true. I have all these weird epiphanies in different moments and it's just annoying as hell. I don't like it. Shut up, bird. God, okay. Mother. Let alone the environment I'm in. My neighborhood is not light to the idea of doing a podcast. But hey, how would it be if it wasn't like this with me? I'll try to have some guests next time, but if it doesn't work out, well, you'll just have to hear my little voice again. So until then, take care of yourselves. Take a moment, breathe, meditate, relax, eat healthy, stay healthy, wear a mask, and just be free with your emotions. This is John Corona signing off. Later, guys.